What if the Chicago Blackhawks never traded Artemi Panarin? The Chicago Blackhawks made a huge mistake trading Artemi Panarin in the summer of 2017. Rather than trading Panarin straight up for Brandon Saad, they should have waited until the 2018 offseason to trade him. What if the Chicago Blackhawks never traded Artemi Panarin? How would this impact the NHL? Because Chicago decides to keep Artemi Panarin, the Blackhawks need to make some trades to make some cap room. Chicago Blackhawks trade Artemi Panarin, Richard Panik, and a second-round pick in 2017, Michael DiPietro, to the Detroit Red Wings for Thomas Tatar, Riley Sheahan, and Nick Jensen. Chicago Blackhawks also trade Corey Crawford to the Buffalo Sabres for Robin Lehner. Nicholas Jarmelson is traded to the Anaheim Ducks for Brandon Montour. With Panarin remaining on the Blackhawks, the Blue Jackets will be forced to make a different trade for Brandon Saad. Columbus Blue Jackets trade Brandon Saad to the Arizona Coyotes for Tony DeAngelo, Anthony Duclair, and a second-round pick in 2017, Alexander Texier. Columbus Blue Jackets re-signed Anthony Duclair to a 2-year deal worth $1 million per season, and Tony DeAngelo to a 2-year deal worth $1 million per season. There are no other major changes in the 2017 draft. Chicago Blackhawks don't sign Patrick Sharp in free agency. He signs with the Florida Panthers. There is no change in standings during the 2017-18 season. In the 2018 offseason, many changes occur. Buffalo Sabres trade Ryan O'Reilly to the Edmonton Oilers for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Jesse Puljujarvi, and a first-round pick in 2020. Calgary Flames trade Dougie Hamilton and Adam Fox to the New Jersey Devils for Damon Severson, Pavel Zacha, and Ty Smith. Chicago Blackhawks trade Artemi Panarin and Brent Seabrook to the Carolina Hurricanes for Andrei Svechnikov and Noah Hanifin. Edmonton Oilers trade Chris Russell and Zach Kassian along with Evan Bouchard to the Tampa Bay Lightning for Alex Killorn and Cal Foote. Montreal Canadiens trade Alex Galchenyuk to the Nashville Predators for Kyle Turris. Then the Nashville Predators trade Alex Galchenyuk to the Buffalo Sabres for Alex Nylander and a second-round pick in 2018, Alexander Romanov. New Jersey Devils trade Taylor Hall to the Calgary Flames for Johnny Gaudreau and a conditional first-round pick in 2021 if Taylor Hall resigns. LA Kings trade Jake Muzzin to the New Jersey Devils for Will Butcher, Jesper Boquist, and a first-round pick in 2021. New York Rangers trade Matt Zuccarello and Vladislav Nemesnikov to the Minnesota Wild for Charlie Coyle and Nino Niederreiter. Ottawa Senators trade Erik Karlsson and Mark Stone to the Nashville Predators for PK Subban, Kevin Fiala, and a first-round pick in 2019. Ottawa Senators also trade Matt Duchene to the Arizona Coyotes for Max Domi, Christian Dvorak, and a second-round pick in 2020. If Duchene resigns with Arizona, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. Pittsburgh Penguins trade Oli Mata and Connor Sheary to the Montreal Canadiens for Arturi Lehkonen, Noah Juleson, and a second-round pick in 2018, Tyler Madden. San Jose Sharks trade Mark-Edward Vlasic and Mikhail Bodker to the New York Rangers for Kevin Hayes, Brady Shea, and a second-round pick in 2019. San Jose Sharks trade Joe Pavelski to the Colorado Avalanche for Alex Kerfoot, JT Kuemper, and a first-round pick in 2020. Toronto Maple Leafs trade William Nylander and Jake Gardner to the Arizona Coyotes for Barrett Hayton, Pierre-Oliver Joseph, and a first-round pick in 2019. Vancouver Canucks trade Sven Baertschi, Ben Hutton, and Nikolai Goudobin to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Ryan Murray and Sonny Milano. Washington Capitals trade Lars Eller and Carl Hagelin to the St. Louis Blues for Robbie Fabry, Sammy Blais, and a third-round pick in 2018, Riley Sutter. Nashville Predators re-sign Mark Stone to an 8-year deal worth $9.5 million per season. Arizona Coyotes re-sign William Nylander to a 6-year deal worth $6.9 million per season. Montreal Canadiens re-sign Kyle Turris to a 6-year deal worth $6 million per season. San Jose Sharks re-signed Kevin Hayes to a 3-year deal worth $6.5 million per season, and Brady Shea to a 6-year deal worth $5.2 million per season. Chicago Blackhawks re-signed Noah Hanifin to a 6-year deal worth $4.95 million per season. Minnesota Wild re-signed Vladislav Nemesnikov to a 2-year deal worth $4 million per season. Ottawa Senators re-signed Kevin Fiala to a 2-year deal worth $3.5 million per season, and Max Domi to a 2-year deal worth $3.15 million per season. Columbus Blue Jackets re-signed Sven Baertschi to a 3-year deal worth $3.6 million per season. St. Louis Blues re-signed Lars Eller to a 5-year deal worth $3.5 million per season. Chicago Blackhawks re-signed Brandon Montour to a 2-year deal worth $3.38 million per season, and Robin Lehner to a 1-year deal worth $1.5 million. Washington Capitals re-signed Robbie Fabry to a 2-year deal worth $1.5 million per season. Carolina Hurricanes buyout Brent Seabrook, Detroit Red Wings buyout Justin Abdelkader, Edmonton Oilers buyout Milan Lucic, Montreal Canadiens buyout Carl Alzner, and the New York Islanders buyout Andrew Ladd. 2018 free agent signings. Anaheim Ducks signed Justin Applicator, Detroit Red Wings signed Jack Johnson, LA Kings signed James Neal, Philadelphia Flyers signed Paul Stastny, Pittsburgh Penguins signed Calvin DeHaan, St. Louis Blues signed Milan Lucic, Toronto Maple Leafs signed JVR, Vancouver Canucks signed Carl Osner, Vegas Golden Knights signed Brent Seabrook, Washington Capitals signed Ilya Kovalchuk, and the Winnipeg Jets signed Andrew Ladd. All other players not on this list of free agents are re-signed by their current teams. All RFAs are re-signed by their current teams. The changes in the offseason will have a major effect on the 2018-19 season. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Tampa Bay Lightning, followed by the Boston Bruins and Montreal Canadiens. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the Washington Capitals, followed by the Pittsburgh Penguins and Carolina Hurricanes. The Toronto Maple Leafs hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Columbus Blue Jackets hold the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the New York Rangers, Florida Panthers, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Islanders, Ottawa Senators, New Jersey Devils, Buffalo Sabres, and Detroit Red Wings. In first place in the Central Division are the Nashville Predators, followed by the Chicago Blackhawks and Colorado Avalanche. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Calgary Flames, followed by the Vegas Golden Knights and San Jose Sharks. The Winnipeg Jets hold the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, and the St. Louis Blues hold the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Dallas Stars, Edmonton Oilers, Arizona Coyotes, Anaheim Ducks, Vancouver Canucks, Minnesota Wild, and LA Kings. The Nashville Predators won the Stanley Cup in 6 games over the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins buy out David Backes, Buffalo Sabres buy out Kyle Oposo, LA Kings buy out Dustin Brown, Montreal Canadiens buy out Andrew Shaw, New Jersey Devils buy out Corey Schneider, New York Rangers buy out Mark Stahl and Brendan Smith, Vancouver Canucks buy out Louis Eriksson and Brandon Sutter, and the Winnipeg Jets buy out Brian Little. This brings us to the 2019 draft, where many changes take place. Toronto Maple Leafs have the 10th pick in the draft. This pick was acquired from the Arizona Coyotes in the William Nylander trade. The Ottawa Senators have the 31st pick in the draft. This pick was acquired from the Nashville Predators in the Erik Karlsson trade. 2019 draft results. Vancouver Canucks draft Jack Hughes, Buffalo Sabres draft Kaapo Kakko, New Jersey Devils draft Kirby Dach, Minnesota Wild draft Bowen Byram, New York Islanders draft Dylan Cousins, Philadelphia Flyers draft Matthew Boldy, Florida Panthers draft Victor Soderstrom, Edmonton Oilers draft Spencer Knight, New York Rangers draft Cole Caulfield, Dallas Stars draft Cam York, St. Louis Blues draft Alex Newhook, Columbus Blue Jackets draft Peyton Krebs, San Jose Sharks draft Lasky Thompson, Carolina Hurricanes draft Samuel Poulin, Vegas Golden Knights draft Tobias Borfot, Montreal Canadiens draft Connor McMichael, Pittsburgh Penguins draft Philip Tomasino, Chicago Blackhawks draft Nolan Foote, Washington Capitals draft Ryan Suzuki, Tampa Bay Lightning draft Braden Tracy, and the Nashville Predators draft Ryan Johnson. Colorado Avalanche draft Philip Broberg and Jacob Pelletier in the 2019 draft. Toronto Maple Leafs draft Vasily Podkolzin and Thomas Harley in the 2019 draft. After the draft, a couple trades are made. Carolina Hurricanes trade the rights to Artemi Panarin to the New York Rangers for Vitaly Kretsov. Chicago Blackhawks trade Eric Gustafsson to the Edmonton Oilers for a second-round pick in 2020. Colorado Avalanche trade Tyson Barrie to the Calgary Flames for Dylan Dubé, Oliver Kylington, and a first-round pick in 2020. Dallas Stars trade Alexander Radulov to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Phil Kessel. LA Kings trade Tyler Toffoli to the Detroit Red Wings for Andreas Athanasiou and a second-round pick in 2020. Montreal Canadiens acquired Jason Zucker from the Minnesota Wild for Ryan Poehling, Josh Brook, and a first-round pick in 2021. Nashville Predators trade the rights to Erik Karlsson to the Winnipeg Jets for the rights to Jacob Trouba. If Winnipeg makes it to the second round of the playoffs, the Predators get a first-round pick. Nashville Predators trade Jacob Trouba to the Boston Bruins for Brandon Carlo and a first-round pick in 2020. New York Rangers trade Chris Kreider and Ryan Strome to the Florida Panthers for Vincent Trocheck, Frank Vetrano, and a second-round pick in 2021. New York Rangers also trade Mikhail Bodker to the Ottawa Senators for a fourth-round pick in 2020. New York Islanders trade the rights to Anders Lee and Jordan Eberle to the Carolina Hurricanes for Morgan Geekie, Julian Gauthier, and a second-round pick in 2021. Ottawa Senators trade J.T. Pajot and Logan Brown to the New York Islanders for Michael Dalcourt and a first-round pick in 2020. San Jose Sharks acquired Mitch Marner from the Toronto Maple Leafs for Timo Meier, Kevin LeBanc, and a first-round pick in 2020. Tampa Bay Lightning trade Andre Palat and Yanni Gourde to the Anaheim Ducks for Troy Terry, Maxime Comtois, and a second-round pick in 2021. If the Lightning win the Stanley Cup, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. Toronto Maple Leafs trade Nazem Kadri, Andreas Janssen, and Timothy Liljegren to the Anaheim Ducks for Ricard Raquel, Andre Casse, and Josh Manson. Toronto Maple Leafs acquire Shane Gostisbehere from the Philadelphia Flyers for Kasperi Kapanen and a second-round pick in 2021. If the Maple Leafs make it to the conference finals, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. New York Rangers re-sign Artemi Panarin to an 8-year deal worth $11.6 million per season. Winnipeg Jets re-sign Erik Karlsson to an 8-year deal worth $11 million per season. San Jose Sharks re-sign Mitch Marner to an 8-year deal worth $11.6 million per season, and Alex Kerfoot to a 4-year deal worth $3.5 million per season. Arizona Coyotes re-sign Matt Duchene to a 7-year deal worth $8 million per season. Boston Bruins re-sign Jacob Trouba to a 5-year deal worth $6.75 million per season. Carolina Hurricanes re-signed Anders Lee to a 7-year deal worth $7 million per season, and Jordan Eberle to a 6-year deal worth $5.5 million per season. Toronto Maple Leafs re-signed Timo Meier to a 4-year deal worth $6 million per season, and Kevin Labanc to a 1-year deal worth $1 million. New York Islanders re-signed Brock Nelson to a 6-year deal at $6 million per season. Anaheim Ducks re-signed Yanni Gourde to a 6-year deal worth $5.5 million per season. Chicago Blackhawks re-signed Robin Lehner to a 3-year deal at $5 million per season. Nashville Predators re-signed Brandon CARLO to a 2-year deal at $2.85 million per season. 2019 free agent signings. Chicago Blackhawks signed Jake Gardner and Ryan Dzingel. Colorado Avalanche signed Brandon Sutter and Michael Furland. Washington Capitals signed Brian Little and Mark Stahl. Winnipeg Jets signed Joe Pavelski and Louis Eriksson. Anaheim Ducks signed David Backes. Buffalo Sabres signed Wayne Simmons. Detroit Red Wings signed Brandon Smith. Minnesota Wild signed Dustin Brown. Nashville Predators signed Andrew Shaw. New York Islanders signed Kyle Oposo. Ottawa Senators signed Corey Schneider. St. Louis Blues signed Corey Perry. And the Tampa Bay Lightning signed Matt Zuccarello. All other players not on this list of free agents are re-signed by their current teams. All RFAs are re-signed by their current teams. The changes in the offseason will have a major effect on the 2019-20 season. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Boston Bruins, followed by the Tampa Bay Lightning and Toronto Maple Leafs. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the Washington Capitals, followed by the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. Carolina Hurricanes hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Montreal Canadiens hold the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the Columbus Blue Jackets, Philadelphia Flyers, Florida Panthers, New York Islanders, New Jersey Devils, Ottawa Senators, Buffalo Sabres, and Detroit Red Wings. In first place in the Central Division are the Chicago Blackhawks, followed by the Nashville Predators and Winnipeg Jets. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Calgary Flames, followed by the San Jose Sharks and Edmonton Oilers. The Colorado Avalanche hold the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, and the St. Louis Blues hold the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Vegas Golden Knights, Dallas Stars, Arizona Coyotes, Vancouver Canucks, Anaheim Ducks, LA Kings, and Minnesota Wild. The Chicago Blackhawks beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in 6 games to win the Stanley Cup. Anaheim Ducks buy out Nicholas Jarmelson, Minnesota Wild buy out Victor Rask, New York Islanders buy out Johnny Boychuk and Cal Clutterbuck. This brings us to the 2020 draft. Ottawa Senators have the 8th pick in the draft. This pick was acquired from the New York Islanders in the JT Pajot trade. San Jose Sharks have the 19th pick in the draft. This pick was acquired from the Colorado Avalanche in the Joe Pavelski trade. Buffalo Sabres have the 20th pick in the draft. This pick was acquired from the Edmonton Oilers in the Ryan O'Reilly trade. Nashville Predators have the 21st pick in the draft. This pick was acquired from the Winnipeg Jets in the Erik Karlsson trade. Colorado Avalanche have the 27th pick in the draft. This pick was acquired from the Calgary Flames in the Tyson Barrie trade. Nashville Predators have the 29th pick in the draft. This pick was acquired from the Boston Bruins in the Jacob Trouba trade. 2020 draft results. Detroit Red Wings draft Alexis Lafreniere. Minnesota Wild draft Marco Rossi. LA Kings draft Jake Sanderson. Anaheim Ducks draft Alexander Holtz. Arizona Coyotes draft Yaroslav Askarov. Florida Panthers draft Cole Perfetti. Philadelphia Flyers draft Caden Gooley. Columbus Blue Jackets draft Jack Quinn. Dallas Stars draft Braden Schneider. Vegas Golden Knights draft Dawson Mercer. St. Louis Blues draft William Wallinder. Montreal Canadiens draft Seth Jarvis. Carolina Hurricanes draft Hendrix Lapierre. Pittsburgh Penguins draft Emile Andre. Washington Capitals draft Helge Grans. Toronto Maple Leafs draft Ridley Gregg. And the Chicago Blackhawks draft Brendan Brisson. Ottawa Senators draft Quentin Byfield and Anton Lundell. New Jersey Devils draft Tim Stutzel and Lucas Raymond. Buffalo Sabres draft Jamie Drysdale and Dylan Holloway. Colorado Avalanche draft Justin Barron, Connor Zary, and Ozzy Weisblatt. Nashville Predators draft Jacob Perreault, Jeremy Poirier, and Noah Gundler. After the draft, a few other offseason moves are made. Chicago Blackhawks trade Alex DeBrincat, Dylan Strome, and a first-round pick in 2021 to the Buffalo Sabres for Casey Mittelstadt and Rasmus Ristolainen. Chicago Blackhawks trade Thomas Tatar to the Colorado Avalanche for Tyson Jost, Valeri Nichushkin, and a first-round pick in 2022. Edmonton Oilers trade Darnell Nurse to LA Kings for Adrian Kempe, Gabriel Velarde, and Tobias Bjornfot. Calgary Flames re-signed Taylor Hall to an 8-year deal at $10 million per season. Florida Panthers re-signed Chris Kreider to a 7-year deal worth $6 million per season. Buffalo Sabres re-signed Corey Crawford to a 2-year deal at $4 million per season. Toronto Maple Leafs re-signed Kevin Labanc to a 3-year deal worth $3.5 million per season. Chicago Blackhawks re-signed Brandon Montour to a 1-year deal worth $4 million and Casey Mittelstadt to a 1-year deal worth $2.5 million. Chicago Blackhawks re-signed Tyson Jost to a 2-year deal worth $2 million per season. 2020 free agent signings. Boston Bruins signed Charlie Coyle, Dallas Stars signed Ryan Strome, Detroit Red Wings signed Tyler Toffoli, Nashville Predators signed Johnny Boychuk, New Jersey Devils signed Mike Hoffman, Philadelphia Flyers signed Andreas Athanasiou, Tampa Bay Lightning signed Nicholas Jarmelson, Washington Capitals signed Victor Rask, and the Winnipeg Jets signed Cal Clutterbuck. All other players not on this list of free agents are re-signed by their current teams. All RFAs are re-signed by their current teams. The winners in this scenario are the Chicago Blackhawks, New Jersey Devils, Toronto Maple Leafs, Buffalo Sabres, and Edmonton Oilers. The losers in this scenario are the Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers, Washington Capitals, New York Islanders, and Minnesota Wild. Chicago Blackhawks have a tremendous core of Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, Andrei Svechnikov, Rasmus Ristolainen, Noah Hanifin, Casey Mittelstadt, and Robin Lehner. New Jersey Devils have a great core of Johnny Gaudreau, Nico Hischier, Tim Stutzel, Mike Hoffman, Kirby Doc, Dougie Hamilton, Adam Fox, Jake Muzzin, and Mackenzie Blackwood. Toronto Maple Leafs have a remarkable core of Austin Matthews, John Tavares, Timo Meyer, Ricard Raquel, Morgan Riley, Shane Gostisbehere, and Frederick Anderson. Buffalo Sabres have a tremendous young core of Jack Eichel, Kaapo Kakko, Sam Reinhart, Rasmus Dahlin, Jamie Drysdale, Dylan Strome, and Alex DeBrincat. Edmonton Oilers have assembled a remarkable core of Connor McDavid, Leon Drysdale, Ryan O'Reilly, Oscar Klefbom, Alex Killorn, Callan Foote, Gabriel Velarde, and Spencer Knight. The New York Islanders and Philadelphia Flyers both lose important players and got much worse in this scenario. Washington Capitals and Tampa Bay Lightning are still good teams, but they both lose important players. The Minnesota Wild are the biggest loser in this scenario and are by far the worst team in the league after the 2020 offseason. If the Chicago Blackhawks waited until the 2018 offseason to trade Artemi Panarin, the whole landscape of the league would be very different. On my next What If scenario, I'll be talking about what if the Pittsburgh Penguins traded Evgeny Malkin.